decided to blend in with the couch today. But anywho, welcome back to my channel. This will be part 2 of the Asking Me Questions About My Job video. A little while back, I asked you on Instagram to ask me some questions about my job and life as a journalist. You can watch the first part by clicking here or going and finding the link in the description, along with the link to full versions of the videos and footage that I reference in this video. And without further ado, we're gonna hop right in. All right, first question for this video: what do I do to relax in my free time, workouts, meal prep, etc.? Well, the first thing I like to do to relax in my free time is sleep. I sound like a broken record by now, I am sure, but I have to wake up at 2:30 in the morning to go to work every day. And it's very hard to get enough sleep regardless when you have to wake up that early. But I do really love fitness. I love to work out. I love to run. I love to stretch. I love to lift weights, small weights, because I have tiny arms. I try to work out 3 to 4 times a week at least. I try to run that many times a week as well.
Interrupt this run for something very important. A baby snail, look how small it is.
I love to paint, I love to journal, I watch a lot of YouTube, I watch a lot of TikToks, I have dance parties with myself. Without you in my life, baby. I have dance parties with my cat Sugar. Making YouTube videos is also something I do to relax. Next question. All right, sort of segueing from that question to this next one. How do I cope with the crazy hours? I don't. I have found that there is no way to not be some degree of tired when your day starts at 2:30 in the morning. But you can be smart. This shift has really taught me to listen to my body. I love to work out. I love to stay on top of everything. But some days my body says, Erin, you're coming home and you're going to sleep. And I'll just sleep all day. Literally, I'll come home at 1 p.m. some days, shower, get in bed, and not leave until I have to get out of bed again at 2:30 the next morning. Except I'll always make sure I eat food. That's important. Journalists say not to take a nap when you work this shift. I do take naps. One thing I definitely don't do is drink caffeine. Now, I'll have an iced tea every once in a while, but I won't drink any coffee. No, no. I've watched too many friends and people I know become reliant on caffeine, and I don't want to be that way, so I just live without it. I've actually never had a cup of coffee, so I don't even know what I'm missing. It's also easier to cope with the sleeping schedule now because it gets dark at 6 p.m. I usually try to be asleep by 7:30, so that's good. I will say, as a general lifestyle thing that I've adapted to though, you can't limit yourself. There are some days where my friends are like, let's go have a socially distant picnic in the park tonight, and I'm like, okay, bet. And so I'll end up staying awake a really long time. But as long as you give yourself time to recover the next day, balance is the key. Next question! Do I have a favorite story that I've covered? Yes, I do! I actually have 3. I'll keep them short. First one is a story I did with my friend Keith Greiner. He actually became my friend because of this story that we did together. A phenomenally talented photographer based in Nashville, Tennessee. He is in recovery following a several-year battle with alcohol and drug addiction. And he completely did a 180, turned his life around, and now has shot photography for Post Malone, Maren Morris, Darius Rucker, John Mayer, you name it. He's a super cool guy. Here's a snippet from that story.
Picture this.
I just want my images to catch people's eyes.
After picking up a camera for the first time at 32,
I want it to draw people in.
you're snapping the raw passion of artists like John Mayer, Hootie and the Blowfish, Kid Rock, less than a decade later.
I think music has the ability to take people to different places.
Sitting down with Keith Greiner, you'll see he's just as vibrant as the photos he takes.
It's a universal language that everyone speaks and can enjoy.
But things were once much, much darker.
It would be a lot easier for me to say what substances I wasn't addicted to.
My second favorite story I've ever done is one with Leslie Jordan. You know that hilarious actor? Well, he's from Chattanooga, Tennessee, where I'm a news reporter. And when he was doing those viral Instagram videos at the beginning of quarantine, I got to do an interview with him about him. Here's a snippet from that video.
I think we all have a job during this, and mine is just to keep it light and make people laugh.
Going viral in the process. The 64-year-old sits at 1.5 million followers on Monday.
People are calling me going, "You're viral." I said, "No, I'm fine, honey. I'm with my mother." They go, "No, you're viral." I said, "No, I'm really fine. I'm here with my mother." And they go, "Leslie, turn on Instagram."
My third favorite story is probably one that I did about Grace Academy. It's a school that got blown to bits, completely destroyed in the Chattanooga Easter Sunday tornado. I had some emotional experiences while shooting that story that I don't really think I can fully explain.
From the outside, Grace Academy is gone. But just like we learned at school,
It's such a special place.
it's what's on the inside
It's hard. I've been here 19 years.
that matters.
The teachers painted all of the walls and all the base. When I see this artwork, I think that's just typical of the investment they're making in these kids' lives.
And the final question for today. How does one find news aside from major political news and make a story of it? This is a phenomenal question. The fact of the matter is that news is right in front of your face all of the time. You find it in conversations with your friends or while you're out shopping. Usually you can find it in problems that you experience for yourself. For instance, I voted absentee in this past election. I live in Tennessee. My absentee ballot application was originally rejected because Tennessee had a law that I didn't know about that made it so if you were a new Tennessee resident, you had to vote in person in an election at least once before you were allowed to vote absentee by mail. I didn't know that, and my guess was a lot of people who had just moved to Tennessee, who were first-time voters in the state, also didn't know that, and also probably hadn't voted in an election in the state before if they had also just recently moved there. So I turned that into a story. I contacted the election commission. I went to a college campus and asked kids who had recently moved there and maybe become a Tennessee resident for the next 4 years, hey, did you know that you can't vote absentee unless you've done this first? And it turns out that Tennessee ended up changing that law for this past election because of the pandemic, so my ballot was accepted after all, and you didn't have to vote in person. Also, a great way to find news, see what people complain about in Facebook groups. That is a treasure trove.
Sugar, what are you doing? Sugar, what are you doing?
Well, I was going to end my video, as I always do, with holding Sugar. But Sugar looks too darn comfortable inside of my TV stand right now. So we're gonna lay on the floor, and we're gonna end this video together, like this. Isn't that right, Sugar? Oh, yeah. Okay, Sugar. We're gonna say bye to okay, she already said bye. Oh, she's coming out the other side. Ah! Okay. All right, I got her. Well, Sugar and I sincerely hope that you enjoyed watching this second part of answering questions about my job as a journalist. And if you have a question that I didn't answer in this video or the last one, leave me a comment here and ask me a question. Or follow me on Instagram, leave me a comment, or tweet me, ask me a question. Or just say hi, we like friends. We hope everyone has a magnificent week. We'll see you next time.